Thank you. It's still TMI Tuesday and same topic, national security, exploring solution strategies. And I've just been joined by some erudite, articulate persons. And starting from my extreme left, I have youth inclusive advocate, Peter Agwebo. Many thanks for coming, Peter.
Thank you for having me.
And also next, I have one who is the president of Association for Education and Development and also an executive director of Africa Emancipation Movement, Osagie Godsent Eruse. Thanks for coming.
My pleasure. Again.
And extend the handshake.
All right, I will.
All right, so we've been following this whole issues about national security and looking at what has been happening, even just yesterday over the DCP Umar, shot dead in Abuja over the protest of IMN that turned violent. What do you think is missing, and how do we channel a solution to resolving this national question of security? Osage.
All right, let me begin by saying that it's a sad development. I want to commiserate with the family of the bereaved. But we have to put issues very straight, and we have to call a spade a spade. I think it's about time we declare a state of emergency on our security issue in this country. Because I have heard different people say things like Nigeria is not the only nation with security issues. But you have to look at it critically. And if you look at it critically, you discover that we quite agree that security issue is a global thing. But the level at which our situation has deteriorated has begun to call for concern by relevant stakeholders. Because government, one of the things I want to say to the government of the day is that security is not a privilege of the citizenry. It's a right. We deserve to be protected. And one of the strong promises upon which this government came on board was the promise of security.
Yes, the promise of security, but you agree vividly like what the retired colonel spoke about in respect of the Boko Haram sect being decimated. And even the naval chief also said it, and he said they've been substantially caged, and looking at the communities that were liberated from their stronghold.
Is it liberation or killing we are talking about here? I want to totally disagree with that. All right, what do you mean when you say people have been disseminated or defeated or caged? I mean, it's funny because it was the same security chief that said one of the problems we have with our troops today is that they are not motivated and lack of commitment. Okay? Now, the point is this. Boko Haram has been disseminated, yet they are still killing people. There are still a lot of suicide missions. Just in May, early June.
Guerrilla fights, they call it.
We had a lot of reports about that. So it's laughable when someone said Boko Haram has been caged or disseminated.
But don't you see it as a reflexive response, like what the retired colonel said?
One of the things I want to say is that Boko Haram are not stupid people. They have their senses too, all right? And it's about time both the military, the government of the day, stop trying to get it twisted. We are in a war with Boko Haram, and they are still fully on ground. They are fully on ground, and beside Boko Haram, we are aware that there are other groups that have come in. The Shite group is an example, and the farmer and herdsmen crisis.
Bandits.
Now, bandits is another issue. All right, Nigeria is in a state where I think three things went wrong with our security system. Number one is the fact that we politicize everything in this country. There is nothing we don't bring in politics. And if you try to say to the government of the day, hey, we have to come to the thinking table, it seems as if, hey, you're an opposition party. But the truth is, are every one of us going to die before we realize that people are dying? And it's in the news media, it's in your local stations. There are all kinds of attacks going on every day, and you are saying Boko Haram has been caged. Who is fooling who? We are seeing their terror. We are seeing more people being killed.
Okay,
even CNN and Al Jazeera took the news of May.
Like you said, it's not just the Boko Haram sect, but let's look at the security architecture, Peter Agwebo, of this great country, Nigeria. Now, what do you make of the changes that could be made, or do you see it as still okay to fight this ugly monster?
Yeah, first, it is expedient for one to actually note that the security challenges we are facing in Nigeria is actually becoming an epidemic one. And outside the fact that Boko Haram menace has actually deteriorated the growth and the peaceful nation we have actually enjoyed in this country over the years, we should not also forget the fact that the farmers and herdsmen clash is now more deadlier. As of 2008, it was 3 times deadlier than the Boko Haram terrorists.
So it's getting worse.
Very well. Let us not also forget that even the IMN, the Islamic movement of Nigeria,
otherwise known as Shiites,
their activity now is also becoming deadly. Take, for example, when the issue of elders and the farmers clash started,
yes,
it has been existing over the years. But in 2009, it took a new dimension, just as this Shiite movement is taking a dimension. But the federal government, to an extent, didn't see any reason to call the spade a spade, in the sense that they didn't want to see how they can end impunity on banditry and at that time.
Okay, but you made mention of the Shiites, for instance, the demand for the release of their leader, El Zazaki. That is still within the court process. And if we are saying that we should be a country that follows the doctrine of the rule of law, don't you think that the president is even right when he made it clear that he should go through the court process and it's not his to take that decision?
Yes, first, that is for the judiciary. And we are all aware that that issue is before the courts. Yes. And some are still speculating between the members of the Islamic movement of Nigeria that they've already gotten a judgment for the release of their leader. Be it as it may, every group have a reason to fight or agitate for something. But they call it a protest. But when a protest is becoming violent, then it's already becoming civil arrest. It's actually bringing down the peace of the country. This is not the first time Shiite they're having a protest in Abuja. We are not only concerned about people that died. We are also aware that at 10 p.m. last night, the reporter from Chinese TV was also confirmed dead. Not only the Deputy Commissioner for Police in a federal capital territory that have lost his life.
Yes. Well, though we're still verifying that.
Okay. So going forward, I think that the lasting solution to see how best to change the narrative of our security challenge in Nigeria is, first, the government should be proactive enough to first acknowledge the fact that security is not just a main chance for citizens. Security is a right for every citizen. When security is not there, is not guaranteed, close to even 90%.
Okay, but some argue that the aspect of the government being proactive or the military being proactive in this direction could be a difficult task, because if there is going to be an ambush, if there's going to be a guerrilla fight, you can be proactive on that. So what do you make of that statement?
Mr. Philip, looking about proactiveness in security and looking at it from the angle of, what's it called? Let's say, like for ambush.
Yes, ambush.
It correlates. It is out of point for anyone to say or think that we cannot be proactive when it comes to security fights. What are our intelligence units doing? What is their role? It's also out of point for one to even say that you cannot be proactive towards
the insurgency fight.
The insurgency fight. No.
Okay.
Like what happened to what's it called, the ambush.
Okay.
Every security officer, personnel, they have that consciousness of always having personal security for themselves. What is the essence of you when you are going out? You have a background study of where you are going, going to.
Okay.
As a security personnel, it's also advisable for you to even move alone.
Okay, thank you. Let me toss the question to you. Also, let's get your response on how proactive can the government be in fighting against insurgency and the kind of ambush that we get in the insurgency fight, the guerrilla fight? How proactive can the government be?
Let me take your mind back to about 5 years ago, thereabouts. There was a time this insecurity and insurgency is not just new to the Nigerian system. And like we have identified, is a global epidemic. But one of the things I've said is, how are other countries managing it?
Managing it.
No country is at more risk than America, UK, and some other, world power countries. But how are they managing their situation? Let me remind you of what happened. See, security is not a mystical thing. It is something we can tackle. But there are a number of factors that have weakened our ability for firmness. And that's the reason why I always say that if you have a security chief or security chiefs that can't deal decisively with the issue, then they should be changed. See, we are talking about lives here. We are not just talking about poverty. We are not just talking about no good roads. We are talking about lives. Hundreds of Nigerians have been killed, thousands actually. And some of the people that have been accused or that are responsible for this killing are not being tried currently in any competent court. They are just getting scot-free. And what we are hearing is that they are eligible to amnesty. I want to say that you can't compare Boko Haram with the group like with Niger Delta Militant. Although I do not support their activities, it's against our constitution. Neither can you compare the activity of Boko Haram with IPOB.
So you seem to be against the amnesty program for the Boko Haram.
Totally against it.
We have about 151 repentant members.
We are. Let me bring this to the point. Look at some few years ago when we were clamoring for the international community to come help us out with our security issue. America and some other countries decided to offer some help. Did you remember the statement they made? Why they had to withdraw their troops? That the Nigerian government is not ready to deal with our security issues. I mean, a couple of years back, it was on the headlines and it was everywhere. That was not sincere.
But what is wrong? Even if you say that, how do you link it to someone who is repentant? If one is repentant after going through the psychological, emotional test, and he's saying that the person is truly repentant, what's wrong if the person is integrated back to the society? Do you see that as harm?
I don't want to talk about repentance here. I want to talk more about the fact that when it seems as if we are begging terrorists, when it seems as if we refuse to name a group that have been involved in acts of terrorism, and we refuse to call them who they are, and we bring in ethnic and religious sentiments. Now, that is the tune of the nation. We may try to hide away from it because we are in the media station. But that's the tune of the nation. Currently, there's a lot of dissatisfaction. Because security issues, is not a political thing. It's not about APC or PDP. It's about the fact that we are already under siege. And a lot of public analysts have said this. Okay, one of the things I think the federal government can do now.
If you say we are already under siege, we are yet to verify that. No, we are yet to verify that because if you look.
Why is it that I'm afraid to travel to Lagos now?
Okay, but
why am I afraid to go to Lagos? Well, so what do you call that? Why am I afraid to travel? I'm afraid currently to, even businessmen are not saying they're afraid to travel within their own country.
But the federal government did say that there's going to be a deployment of military troops to the highways.
They have been speaking English. We are tired of the headlines. We need to see the results. That's the reason why you can't tell me something is working when more people are going in for it.
Okay,
when more people are being killed daily, a lot of people are under the kidnappers' net now. You're telling me it's getting better. It doesn't make sense. Until we put aside sentiment, political issues, politicizing security, and call for a national dialogue and begin to look at state and community policing, because I don't know why the federal government in date is still adamant about doing that. Because one of the effective ways to tackle this security menace is to give free hand to the state and the communities to be able to groom their own security apparatus. And you will see that drastically, if not all the states, some states will begin to succeed, and other states that are not succeeding will be taking clue from states that are already succeeding.
Okay, you are trying to feed into the open letter by the president, former president Olusegun Obasanjo to the president.
Has not done anything. Those who are criticizing him should go back and read the letter. He has only called for a national emergency on security, and I think any right-thinking Nigeria should begin to talk about that.
But we've had the national confab for 2014. Are you saying that should be revisited, or there should be another dialogue?
Sir? Because I have also checked some of the criticism against that confab, that it was not holistic. But when we are asking that you revisit the confab decisions, we are not saying you must take everything that was said hook, line, and sinker.
Okay.
But there are some credible points that could be picked.
Okay.
Then other points could be revisited.
If other points could be revisited, Could those points, other points outside that of the 2014 National Confab, could those other points be revisited by having another dialogue? Is that what you're suggesting?
For me, it's
or
just a waste
discretionary
of
rights?
For me, it's a waste of another form.
Okay.
You know.
Okay, I'll come back to you. Well, I want your opinion in this respect of convoking a dialogue.
Yeah, but with all due respect, I would like to say something before that part of the dialogue.
Okay.
You see, granting Boko Haram amnesty is really not 100% out of point. But how can you go about granting amnesty when we've not even seen, or in fact with all the activities of Boko Haram, or even farmers and the herdsmen clash, there is none of these persons that is currently being prosecuted. There is no judiciary process on these persons. Then you are not coming to grant amnesty. Is it that we have the government is afraid to fight terrorists, or we just don't want to put in resources that has been made to actually tackle those fights, or we just say, okay, let's see. Dialogue is part of our approach.
But the government has agencies, and the agencies are responsible for the arrests. And we've heard reports where some of these persons were arrested. But
what happened after?
Yeah. But you're looking at the prosecution.
Yes.
The prosecution.
But Mr. Philip, but we can't. But we can't. Here in Benin City.
Is it not?
Here in Benin City.
I'll come back to you.
There have been cases at the police station where farmers and attacks were arrested. Even a DPO of that station will even render financial assistance. Not just bail is free. Okay. They are not even being charged to court. You will give them money to satisfy their welfare, and before you know it, the case is dead on arrival.
Okay. But don't you think that there are better ways? Because all of this is boiling down to inability to coexist. You know, those who graze they allow their cattle to graze from the north down to the southern part. You know, it's normal. They are Nigerians.
Very well.
So don't you look at the direction of maybe having modern ranches, like what some states are already thinking of doing, to bring about this whole menace resolved?
Thank you. The most shocking part of this issue is this.
Yes.
Cattle rearing is not a federal government's activity or business. It's an individual activity. Just as normal individuals go about their businesses. It is not out of place.
But the government can set infrastructure.
Definitely, it is not
infrastructures.
Definitely, it is
for
not
it to be rented out.
Out of place.
Yes.
For any Nigerian, be it from the north or in the south, to transport their cattle to any part of the country by law, as we have now. But it is out of place for them to allow their cow to destroy crops. Coming into a free land where that is what's it called? Your cow can actually
graze.
Go in and graze. It is not out of place. But since the government now are showing some lackadaisical attitude towards having an open grazing system, or having a ranch like other states, like even Anambra currently are having, these are methods of addressing.
Is the government showing lackadaisical? You said lackadaisical.
Yes,
I want to analyze that. Yes. How is the government showing that?
When I mean government, I don't look at government only from the federal angle. I look at government in all sphere. The federal, states, and local governments. A federal government came up with a policy, let them be ruga, without due consultation. Then at the end, you see.
It was a proposal.
It was a proposal. No, we can't call it a proposal by.
It's beyond that.
By the practice. It was a proposal in written. When the proposal was going, implementation strategy was already going. In fact, men were mobilized. So calling that a proposal, we are actually trying to miss words. Okay,
but it's a project that needs states to voluntarily implement.
That it was supposed.
Okay, but well, for now suspended.
Yeah, it's suspended. So, however, let's not forget that the open grazing policy will only address one aspect of the insecurity challenges, which is the farmers and hectares crisis. It didn't.
When you say the open grazing policy or the prohibition of open grazing,
Yes, yes. It totally did not address the full security challenges. Take, for example, the Boko Haram insurgency. That does not address it.
Okay.
So I think at this time, the federal government, to my own opinion, the federal government should first they should own it a duty. They should go back and tell their conscience that they own Nigerians that duty to actually maintain law and order, and they should see it as their paramount interest.
Okay,
for the country.
Okay, let's go the national dialogue. Do you see that as actionable? Because that was the question I primarily asked you. Do you see it as actionable to resolving this issue of national security?
Having a dialogue, like I said before, is a welcome strategy towards peace and conflict resolution.
Okay.
But there was finances. There was a lot of appropriation in 2014 confab.
Yes, like he said, that it should be revisited.
It was not just a week confab, nor a month.
Okay.
A lot of resources were spent. And they came out with a report. The former president of our country,
Jonathan,
a few weeks back, also made reference to that confab, that there are a lot of points that could make Nigeria come out from insecurity challenges.
Okay.
That they are also embedded in that confab report.
So you have the view that it can be implemented. Okay, visit it. All right. Yeah. All right. So your final thoughts on this as we round off.
Let me quickly say that for me, the federal government is not sincere, the government of the day, about tackling our security issues. We are not all going to die before they know that we are dying.
Yes.
Already dying.
You've said that. No, but what are the solutions? What are the strategies?
One of the things, let me land, Phil. I'm going to come to the solutions.
Okay, in 1 minute.
One of the things that happened some few years ago was when the IPOB came out, we saw Operation Python Dance.
Okay.
What happened? The intention of the IPOB probably to go beyond the boundary, we are cautioned. So what is happening to Operation Python Dance now is no longer the IPOB. We also saw how the Niger Delta militants, give and take, today they have been abated. Okay, now, those tactics and strategies that were used, what is happening to them? I want to call on, there's need for us to be firm.
So you mean those strategies should also be deployed?
Should also be deployed. I mean, what happened? At least those
in the direction of what group now?
Boko Haram, herdsmen and farmer crisis and bandits. You know, without security, there is no nation. And for me, no government should remain in power who cannot save his citizenry. Because you can't talk about socio-economic progress if you cannot secure people. What economy are you building when we are not safe? And currently, there is already an alarm that we may have problem with food supply shortage.
Okay.
Because of the fact that a lot of farmers are now afraid to go to their farms. Our security challenge is not above remedy. We should confront it headlong.
Okay,
put aside political sentiment.
Quickly, what's your comment? What's your comment on the
state policing?
What's your comment on the $1 billion drawn from the SS Crude account to to purchase the Super Tucano aircraft and other critical equipment?
Beside that one, there have been many allocations to it. They should begin to be a process of accountability. This is not the first time we have been hearing allocation, and everybody have been drawing sentiment. So insecurity is necessary, but where are the results? I want to say that if those funds are not well accounted for, the people that are in charge or that are responsible for those funds should be prosecuted. Because, see, one of the reasons why violence thrives is when people suspect that our social justice system is weak, our rule of law, so to speak. And that is exactly one of our problems. And that's one of the methods that countries like the Americas are using to combat their own issues. Number one is the rule of firmness. They are firm. No matter how violent an opposition is, you see an American government and soldier keep on saying, we will get you down, we are out for you. Then we also see the issue of accountability, like I said, and we also see the issue of, when you talk about dialogue, it is not the bandit that brings the deciding point to the table, like what we have in Zamfara. You know, there are a lot of criticism about that, although it's yet to be verified. You know, why will these bandits suddenly shrink? There have been a lot of accusations of the federal government that probably they are money exchange, although they have come out to deny that.
Okay.
But the point is that the rule of law, one of the reasons why security is abated in some of these countries is because the rule of law is greatly feared. There's transparency and equity. People believe that if there's a breach of the law by any high-profile person, you're going for it.
Thank you. I take
that.
Thank you. I take that as your final thoughts as you round off on that. Well, Peter Agwebo, your final thoughts on this, but I want you to also make comment on the SS Crude account $1 billion. Yeah, you know what that means.
On that issue, it is clear and simple. when there is issues to be investigated, I think it should be investigated without any political statement. We really don't even need the opposition party to bring up such issue before it should be investigated.
Yeah. Even the presidency responded to that. Yes, responded to that because what they said was that the transaction was done government to government, as in from the Nigerian government to that of the U.S. government, and not through any agents or contractor. And so we have 12 Super Tucano fighter aircraft.
It's not a money problem. It's not that
now critical equipment are also involved, which built it up to about over 7 million naira. Now, putting that into check, don't you think that is a viral way to go by the federal government?
It is a good step, and it's a viral way, as you said. But I am not actually too concerned about these procurements of equipment.
Okay.
When this equipment comes, who are these persons, the personnel, to actually handle these equipment? Don't forget, we don't have a lot, in fact, enough security personnel. It is not the duty of the army to actually...
So there should be more recruits?
Oh, yes!
Okay, just like the retired colonel said.
Not just more recruits, but even the system at which the processes we recruit persons is as if you are going to select students to represent your house in an inter-sport. What has been the process?
Okay, it should be thorough.
It should be thorough, and more of professional tactics should be involved.
And more training
that are not even fit to even run an 100-meter race. Some of them cannot even stand. In fact, they can't even undergo foot drill for 1 hour.
I think that's where the training comes in.
Definitely.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you.
Thank you. Security issue is not a money problem; it's a commitment problem.
Okay.
We have been seeing a lot of funds being allotted to the military. What has happened since then?
Okay, thank you, Peter Gwebo. Thank you, of course, Saige God Centurion said. Well, we can't finish this whole business of exploring strategies for the fight against terrorism, for national security. But well, this beat has been on, and this is where we draw the curtain on this beat.